This is a 1 mark question asked in GATE 2017 of Set 2 in electronics. This is from signal subjects and from classification of system topic. The given question is the input x of t and the output yt of a continuous time systems are related by equations. Then the system is. So we have to comment regarding the linearity and the time invariance. So for this equations where the inputs yt, the input x of t and output y of t are related by these equations, we are supposed to comment whether this overall system is linear or non-linear and whether this is time variant or time invariant. Alright. So let's first comment regarding linearity, then we'll come into the time invariance. So coming to linearity, there are two things or two properties should be satisfied by a system so that it is said to be linearity. So the first one is homogeneity. So what is homogeneity? Homogeneity says if the input x of t and if this is producing the output y of t, then if the input is scaled by a factor k, k is a constant, then the output should also scale by the factor k. So if the input is scaled by factor k, then the output will also scale by the factor k. If this is happening, it is said to be satisfying homogeneity. And next one is additivity. So what does this additivity says? So this says if the input is x1t, let's say the output is y1t. If the input is x2t, then the output is y2t. Now when I give the input x1t plus x2t, so we want the corresponding output should be y1t plus y2t. So if this is happening, this is said to be satisfying the condition of additivity. And if a system is satisfied together homogeneity and additivity, then it is said to be linear systems. Otherwise, this is a non-linear systems. So let's check one by one. Okay, so let us first comment regarding homogeneity. So coming to homogeneity, when the input is x of t, then the corresponding output what I am getting is t minus t, and this is t, and this is your x, u and du. Right? So what is happening whenever you are giving the input x of t, so this is being integrated with respect to u and in this interval or in this integration limits. So instead of giving the input x of t, if I give the input k into x of t, so when you give x of t, so this x of t reflected as xu here. So t is being changed to u. So because this k is constant and if you give this the input, so again the limits will be t minus t to t. Instead of xu, you get here k into xu and du. Now I have to check whether this particular expressions is equivalent to k into yt or not. So this is a question mark. If yes, it is said to be satisfying homogeneity. So what is k into yt? So yt this much. So what is k into yt? So k into yt equals to k whole multiplied by t minus t to t, and this is xu and du. So this is k yt. Now you can see here because this k is constant, so this k can be taken out and this are exactly same, right? So this and this are exactly same. So this system is satisfying the condition of homogeneity. So now let us test the additivity. So what can I say is when the input is x1t, then the corresponding output will be t minus t to t, and this will be your x1u and du. When the input is x to t, then this will be your t minus t to t, and this will be your x to u du. Now, okay, if the input is x1t plus x2t, then what is going to happen? So basically what the system is doing, so whatever the input you are giving, so it is integrating this within the limit of this. So if you give t, the t is being changed to u here, the integration happening with respect to u. So instead of x of t, if you give this as the inputs in place of xu, so this will be replaced and the t will be changed to u. So again by referring this equation, so when the input is x1t plus x2t, then the output will be again in the limit of t minus t to t, right? And this will becomes x1u plus x2u and whole multiplied by du. So now I have to check whether this particular expressions is equivalent to y1t plus y2t or not, right? So what is y1t plus y2t? So this is what your y1t you can say, and this is what your y2t you can say, right? So y1t plus y2t will be equals to t minus t to t, this is x1u du, plus again t minus t to t, and this is your x2u du. So this is what your y1t plus y2t. So y1t plus y2t is equivalent to this or not? Yes, you can see this. These and these are same. Because if I split this integration, so this integration can be written as in the limit of t minus t to t, this is x1 u du again plus t minus t to t, and this is your x2 u du. So when the input is x1t plus x2t, I am getting this as outputs, and this output is equivalent to y1t plus y2t. So this is satisfying the condition of additivity as well. So this system is satisfying homogeneity additivity. So this is overall a linear system. So that is confirmed. But we are also supposed to comment again time invariance. Hope this is clear to you. So in fact, this much of explanations and these things analysis are not needed. If some of you are good in the basics, you must be knowing that integrator is a linear system. So directly, without verifying any of this equation, you can say it's a linear system. But this is what actually the Payne paper step-by-step analysis. So you have to verify homogeneity and additivity. If together both of them are satisfying, then it is said to be linear system. And I have shown you how it is happening. In homogeneity case, you first give the input alpha xt and you check what is the outputs, and that output should be equals to alpha into yt or k into yt. Then it is homogeneity. Then similar in this case, you give the individual inputs and get their outputs. Like in this case, I have given x1t, x2t, I got their outputs. Then you give the combination of them. So that combined output should be equals to sum of this individual output. So this should be equals to sum of this, and that's what is happening. So this is satisfying additivity. So it is satisfying homogeneity additivity. So it is said to be linear systems. Now coming to the time invariance. So how to check regarding time invariance? In case of time invariance, again it's a two-step process. So to check time invariance, I have two-step process. So first step is I have to check what is the delayed outputs. So first I will find what is the delayed outputs, and your delayed output is nothing but y of t minus t naughts. So this delayed output should be same as the output due to delayed inputs. So we will find what is the output due to delayed input later. First find what is the delayed output. Delayed output is nothing but y of t minus t naught. So this is what is yt. If I ask you what is y of t minus t naughts, wherever t is there, you replace it by t minus t naughts. So this becomes, so wherever t is there, I am replacing this t by t minus t naught minus t, and this is your t minus t naughts, and this is your xu du. So this is what is the delayed output is. Now next one is output due to delayed input. Output due to delayed input. What is the delayed input? The delayed input nothing but x of t minus t naughts. So this is what is the outputs when the input is x of t. Now you want to find what is the output when the input is x of t minus t naught. So this output should be same as this. If this is happening, I will be telling this is satisfying the condition of time invariance, otherwise it is time variant systems, right? So what I can do is, so if you see here these equations, what is happening is when you give the input x of t, you are getting this integration with respect to u in these limits. Now when you give this is the inputs, then the corresponding output will be integrations, and the limit would be t minus t to t, and this is your x of u minus t naught, and this is du. So simply the limit is same, I am just changing that t notation to u. So note carefully that this is the output when the input is x of t, and this is the output when the input is x of t minus t naught. What is happening when the input is x of t? That t is being changed to u and it is being integrated with respect to u. And again when the input is x of t minus t naught, so this t is changed to u and being integrated with respect to du. So now I have to check whether these two are same or different, right? So for that we have to go by simple mathematical manipulations. So let u minus t naught is equals to m, then you get your du is equals to dm. Let u minus t naught equals to m, then you get du equals to dm, right? And later what you can tell is, so here the integration is happening with respect to u, but now I want to change it with respect to m. So we have to also take care about the limit as well. So what I can tell is, so here u when it was tending to t minus t, now in this case, so what is going to happen for the m then? So when u was this one, so what is your m? So are you getting or not? When u tends to t minus t, so here u integration with respect to u, when the u becomes t minus t, then the m becomes what is the m then? So if you substitute here u equals to t minus t, so this becomes t minus t naughts, and the upper limit of u is t. So when the u becomes t, then this value of m is nothing but t minus t naughts. So let us substitute all these in these equations. So the limit when u becomes t minus t, so m becomes t minus t naughts. When u becomes t, then your m becomes t minus t naughts. And this is what x of u minus t naught I have taken, it is m, xm, and this is dm. So whether this expression is equivalent to this expression or not, and the answer is obviously yes. Some of you might have doubt, sir, here I have the m notation, here there are the u notations. So if that is what the doubt you have, then I'll ask you, if I ask you what is the integration of cos x dx in the limit of, let's say, 0 to pi, whatever the answer you will get, if I say I want this in cos y dy or cos z dz, in such cases the answer will be same or different? Answer will be same, because whatever the expression you will get, so that will be in terms of might be x, y, z, but when you substitute the limits, so let it be x, y, z, you are going to get the same outputs. So whether the integration is happening with respect to m, u, p, whatever it is, as long as the limits are same, so this change of variable doesn't matter. Even if I am making this is k or m or n, whatever it is, so it's absolutely they are same. So this system is also time invariance. So this is a linear and time invariant system. So a delayed output is equivalent to output of delayed inputs. So this is said to be a time invariant system. So overall answer is linear and time invariance. This is a 2-mark question asked in GATE 2017 of Saturn Electronics. This is from signal subjects and from LTA system topic. The given question is, consider the parallel combination of two LTA systems shown in figure. The impulse response of the systems H1t and H2t are given. If input x of t is unit step signal, then the energy of y of t is dash. Okay. So this is the block diagram they have given, and the impulse response H1t and H2t are given by these equations. And if input x of t is ut, then we are supposed to find the energy of yt. Okay. So when I say this x of t is equals to ut, then this input is ut and this input is also ut. So let's call this is y1t and let's call this is y2t, right? So if you observe this diagram, I can tell my y of t is nothing but y1t plus y2t. So now if I ask you what is y1t, output of this LTA systems, y2t is output of this LTA systems. And the impulse response is known, input is known. You know very well in LTA systems the output is convolution of input with the impulse response. So y12 is, y1t is u of t convolve with h1 of t. Similarly y2t is again u of t, but it is convolved with h2t. So let us substitute this value of h1 h2 here. So this is u of t is being convolved with 2 del of t plus 2 minus 3 del of t plus 1 plus u of t convolved with delta of t minus 2, right? And I think you know this, like u of t convolved with delta of t minus t naught is given by u of t minus t naught, right? Any signal convolved with impulse signal becomes same signal. So in other words, what I am trying to say is x of t convolved with delta t is equals to x of t. And then by shifting property, x of t convolved with delta of t minus t naught will be equals to x of t minus t naught. So this is in general to the standard property. This is the shifting property. And in place of x of t, if I take ut, so I am getting this relation. So u of t convolved with del of t minus t naught is equals to u of t minus t naught. So using this identity, we can get this expression of yt. So this is equivalent to u of t convolved with 2 del of t plus 2 again minus 3 into, okay, u of t convolved with delta of t plus 1, and again you have u of t convolved with delta of t minus 2. I have just expanded this bracket. Ut convolved with this much and then ut convolved with this much and this. So this becomes 2 into u of t plus 2 minus 3 u of t plus 1, and you have plus u of t minus 2. So this is what is my y of t is. Right? So using this identity, ut convolve with, so this 2 is outside multiplied, ut convolve with delta of t plus 2 will be u of t plus 2, ut convolve with del of t plus 1 is u of t plus 1, ut convolve with del of t minus 2 is u of t minus 2. So this is what the y of t is, and if I ask you to plot this y of t, how does this y of t look like? So highlight those time instant, t equals to minus 2 here, then so t equals to minus 2 you can take it here, and then you have t equals to minus 1, and then you have t equals to 2 here. So I'll be starting with amplitude 2, so I'll move with amplitude 2 till minus 1. At minus 1 I'm introducing minus 3. So net is 2 minus 3 is minus 1. So this was 2, now I'll jump to 2 minus 3, this is minus 1. I'll move with minus 1 till 2. So I'm moving with minus 1. At t equals to 2 I'm introducing plus 1. So minus 1 plus 1, that becomes 0. So this is the waveform of y of t. This is the waveform of y of t, and we are supposed to find the energy of y of t. So energy of y of t is given by the formula limit minus infinity mod of yt square, and this is dt. And because in this case that this is a real functions, so the mod doesn't have any role because of that square functions. Whether you take the mod or not, so this square of this negative quantity will be, anyway it will be positive in nature, right? So if I ask you what is, okay, this is what in yt you are getting. So anyway, so we can solve by equations, or we can also deal with this corresponding graph also. If I ask you to plot mod of y of t, how does mod of y of t look like? So this is y of t. So if I ask you mod of y of t, how does this look like? So what mod function does? Mod functions makes the negative amplitude to positive amplitude. So if I say this is minus 2, if I say this is minus 1, and if I say this is 2, so between minus 2 to minus 1 it is 2. So mod of 2 is 2 itself. But between minus 1 to 2, this is minus 1. The mod of minus 1 nothing but plus 1. So this is 2 and this is your 1, right? This is 2, and if you take mod of this becomes plus 1. What is this? This is mod of y of t. If this is mod of y of t, if I ask you what is mod of yt square, because I need yt square. So if I ask you what is mod of yt square, so this will be 2 into 2. So this amplitude will be 4, and this is 1 into 1, this is anyway 1. So this is the waveform of mod of yt square. And this integral tells, so it is integration of mod of yt square. So this is nothing but, what is that integration gives? Area of mod of yt square. So if you find the complete area of this, so you can think of this is two rectangles. This is one rectangle and this is one rectangle. What is the area of this rectangle? The height is 4 and the width is 1. And what is the area of this rectangle? I mean this rectangle, this width is again, how much is the width? Width is 3 and height is 1, right? So 4 plus 1, so that 4 plus 3, so that is coming as 7. So area of mod yt square functions is coming 7. And the answer for this, that is energy of y of t, that is nothing but equals to 7. Hope this is clear. So up to this I have used the property, I have got the expression of y of t, I have plotted it, but energy formula is this. So from y of t I have obtained mod of yt, so just by flipping the negative amplitude to positive amplitudes, and then I have squared it. So wherever 2 square is 4, wherever 1 square is 1. So this is mod of yt square, and this formula tells this is nothing but the area of mod of yt square from the limit minus to infinity, or that is the complete area of this mod yt square. So this mod of yt square functions is combination of two rectangles, this rectangle and this rectangle. So this rectangle area is coming 4 into 1 and this is coming 3 into 1. So total area is 7, and obviously the area of mod of yt square is 7. So 7 is the right answer for these questions. Again I am telling you, this is a very easy questions, and because I have explained you all these properties and all, and then by step I am drawing waveforms, I have taken around 8 minutes of time to explain you. But if you solve this problem in proper flow, so this is also not more than 2-minute job, because directly you can write this expression yt. So by referring that diagram, your first step should be to write this, the second step should be to get this one, and then you can visualize mod of yt square. You can rough here itself, and that will be your mod of yt square, and you can find the area. So that is hardly 1 minute or at max 2-minute job. So the answer is 7 for this. This is a 2-mark question asked in GATE 2017 of Set 2 in electronics. This is from signal subjects and from continuous time Fourier transform topic. The given question is, the transfer function of a causal LTI system is h of s equals to 1 by s. If the input to the system is x of t equals to sine t by pi t ut, where ut is in step functions, the system output yt as t tends to infinity is dash. So as usual, model of question this is like input is given and the transfer function given, and we are supposed to find the outputs yt at t equals to infinity. What is yt when t tends to infinity? We have to find it, right? Okay, so you know very well, in frequency domain we write y of s is x of s into h of s, or in time domain the equivalent equation is y of t equals to x of t convolution with h of t. So in this case, if h of s is 1 by s, I hope you have this much of basics of Laplace. If I ask you what is this inverse Laplace, so then it is step function, because step function's Laplace is 1 by s. So if I substitute it here, so this is happening to be sin t by pi t ut, okay, this is what x of t is given, is convolved with ut, and I believe you also know we have a standard results, like any signal convolved with step signal. If I say what is g of t convolved with ut, so this is given by integration of minus into t, and this is g tau d tau. This is very basic results. While learning the step response of LTI system, you must have learned this integral, right? So any signal convolved with step signal is equals to integration of that signal from minus to t with respect to tau. We have to integrate it from minus to t with respect to tau, right? So if this is what is correct, then this equation we can write this as, so you can think of this is gt with respect to that one, okay, and this is ut. So this can be written as integration of minus infinity to t sin tau by pi tau, and this is u tau, and this is d tau, right? So if you can compare this equations with that one. So any signal convolved with step signal is equals to, so what is happening if you see this, if I am convolving this, so this g t becomes tau, I am integrating this function over minus v to t. So similarly if it is ut, so I have to integrate this function over the minus to t, and this t notation should be changed to tau notations, right? So this is what is happening. But now you see, so you know very well, so the tau, this is integration is happening from right from where to where, minus to t, and this is happening with respect to tau, and because u of tau is multiplied here, we can further reduce the limits to 0 to t. Why? Because from minus infinity to 0, the u tau value is 0, so the function itself is 0, integration will be 0. So to have non-zero answer, so the limit should be from 0 to t, and this is sin tau by pi tau, and this is d tau. This is yt, but what is my question? I have to find y of infinity. So y of infinity, if I ask you, then you have to substitute infinity. So if you substitute infinity, so this is happening to be 0 to infinity, and this is sin tau by pi tau, and this is d tau. That's it. So if I ask you what is yt, so you have the limit here up to t. If I ask you what is y of infinity, in place of t, you have to substitute infinity. So this becomes 0 to infinity, and that is sin tau by pi tau. So we have to solve this integral, and that will be my final answer. So how do you do this? Again, some standard results are there for this, but let me show you. Suppose for example, if I ask you what is the Fourier transform of sin at by pi t, okay, so you must be knowing that, so this is given by a rectangular function which exists from minus a to a, height is 1, and this is omega axis. If this is what is my x of t is, this will be my x of omega is. If this is the time domain signal, this is its corresponding frequency domain signal. And I believe you also know that integration of x of t dt in the interval of minus infinity to infinity is given by x of omega evaluated at omega equal to 0, right? So this is the standard center ordinate property. So if you write these the equations, what is x of omega actually? It is given by integration of this x of t into e raised to power minus j omega t dt. So in this integral, if I am substituting omega equal to 0 both sides, you can see if you put omega equal to 0, so this become integral of x to dt, because this factor become 1. So that equals to x of omega evaluated at omega equal to 0. So this is a very well known standard central ordinate property, right? So if integration of x minus infinity x of t dt becomes x of omega to omega equal to 0. So if I ask you what is the integration of minus to infinity sine of at by pi t and this is dt, then what will be this answer? So what I am basically doing is, so I am taking this signal and I am integrating this over this interval. I am asking you what is the answer. So this answer will be Fourier transform of this signal at omega equal to 0, isn't it? So if you compare like this, so this answer will be Fourier transform of this signal at omega equal to 0. But I know the Fourier transform of this signal is this, at omega equal to 0, its amplitude is 1. So this is nothing but your 1, right? So integration of sine at pi t with respect to t in this minus infinite interval is 1. So now, but okay, so this is what is happening. But do you agree that this is a even function? Yes or no? How do you say it's a even functions? So if I say I have a signal, let's say gt is sine of at by pi t, right? If I ask you what is g of minus t, so this is sine of minus at divided by minus pi t. So this is minus of sine at divided by minus pi t. So that is nothing but your sine at by pi t. So what is happening? G of t is equals to g of minus t. So it is indicating that this is even functions. And I think you know this results, like for an even signal, if I say I have a signal, let's say even signal minus into infinity, and if I say this gt is a even signal, get dt, okay, so this is equivalent to 2 into 0 to infinity, okay, and this is get dt, or this is equivalent to 2 into minus into 0 get dt. That is, for an even signal, the complete area is equals to 2 into one-sided area. For an even signal, the complete area, okay, is equals to 2 into one-sided area, because integration gives the area under the curve, right? So now what is happening is, this function is even functions, and then its area from minus to infinity is 1. Now if somebody asks you, what is this answer 0 to infinity, and this is of sine at by pi t, what will be this answer? Pi t dt, what will be this answer? This answer will definitely half, because the complete area is 1. If I ask you what is one-sided area, so that will become half, isn't it? Right? So this is becoming half. And if I say sine at by pi t dt is half, if I am asking you what is sine a tau by pi tau and this is d tau, so what is the answer? It will be still half, because if you change the variable, there is obviously no change in the answer. Even if I ask you with respect to replace this tau by x, y, z, whatever it is, do you think is it going to change? It's not going to change. No matter whatever the variable is, at the end whenever you will put the limits, so there is no existence of let it be tau, x, y, z, whatever it is. So 0 to infinity sine a tau, pi tau, d tau, this answer is half, and this is what we actually expecting, right? So 0 to infinity sine tau by pi tau. So here if you see there is no a factor even. So even if this a you take it 1, so this result is independent of a basically. So even if you take a equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, it will be still half only. So even if I take a equals to 1, or if you ask sine tau by pi tau, this will be still half. So this answer is nothing but your half, which is nothing but equals to your 0.5. So this answer is 0.5. I think this is clear. Let me summarize what I have done so far. Actually, we are given with this informations x of t and h of s. From h of s we have obtained what is h of t, right? So in time domain, the output is related to input and impulse response by convolution by these relations, where this h of t is ut functions and x of t is this functions. So any signal convolved with step signal is integration of that signal in the limit of minus b to t, okay, with respect to this one, right? So any signal convolved with step signal is equals to integration of that signal with respect to tau in the interval of minus b to t. So if I am asking you what is the convolution of this with this, so this is ut functions. So this will be integration of this functions with respect to tau in the limit of minus b to t. But here I have this u tau factor is multiplied, and you know u tau exists from tau equal to 0 to infinity. In other words, when tau less than 0, or in other words when tau is between minus infinity to 0, then u tau function is 0 and the overall function is 0 and the integration result itself is 0. So that's why, so I am further reducing this limit to 0 to t, because when this tau takes the positive value 0 afterwards, this function value is 1 and 1 into this function is this itself. Right? I hope this is able to clear. I am able to clear this one, right? So once again I am telling you, when tau takes value less than 0, so this product will be 0, because this function itself is 0, 0 into something is 0. But when tau is greater than 0, so this u tau value is 1, 1 into this thing is this quantity itself. So y of t is this, but my question is to find what is y of t at t tends to infinity. If I am substituting here infinity, then this integral becomes 0 to infinity sin tau pi tau, right? Sin tau by pi tau, and this is d tau. So integration of these functions with respect to tau in the interval of 0 to infinity. So my target was to now get what is this integral. Actually, this is a standard integral. If some of you are good in basics, you could have directly written that. It's a very well known results. In case if you don't know, I have given the derivations or the proof how this is actually 0.5, right? So sin at by pi t having Fourier transform this much, right? And if you integrate this using central-limit property, so this overall integration from minus to infinity will be, this is what we are getting, it is 1. And that too with this even function we have shown here. And if it is an even function, if total area is 1, then one side area will be half. So the area from 0 to infinity is half, the area from minus to 0 is also half. That's why the total area is minus infinity is half plus half become 1. So if somebody asks total area is 1, then what is the one side area? So that will definitely equals to half. And you can see here, so no matter whether it is A, B, C, whatever, there is no reflection of this factor, isn't it? So even if I make A equals to 1, still this answer will be 1. So if I say integration of 0 to infinity sin t by pi t dt is 1. So even if I am making the variable t to tau x, y, z, still there is no change in the answer, because at the end whatever the function I will get, if I substitute these limits, there is no point like whether it is tau or something else. So that's why, so this answer what you are getting is, which is 0.5. So 0.5 is the right answer for these questions. So I have explained this question from this scratch. So I have taken around 10 minutes of time. But if you solve this in a proper flow, so this is hardly a 2-minute job at max, isn't it? So answer is 0.5 for this.